Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Teresa. This is Lost My Thread. Today I'm going to be talking to you about my plans for Me Made May 2023. So May is upon us, which for me, and I know many other makers out there, is the start of Me Made May. This is a personalized sewing challenge that was set up by Zoe Edwards of the Sozo blog. She also hosts the podcast Check Your Thread. She's over on Instagram. Zoe actually set this challenge up quite a few years ago. I'll put it up on the screen. I feel like it might be like 11, 12, even 13 at this point. I'm not too sure, but when she originally set this challenge up, it was for herself only to try to look through her me-made garments, see if she could wear and style them differently, and learn some lessons by the end of the month. It didn't even start off in May, but it moved over to May in the end. And she learned a lot, and then she encouraged other fellow sewists to do the same. And gradually it's kind of blown up into being really a whole thing, especially over on Instagram. And I've definitely also seen people talking about it quite a bit on YouTube as well. I have been taking part for, I think this is my 5th year now that I've been taking part in it. And everybody is encouraged to make their own personalized pledge of what they want to do throughout the month. The idea is that it's meant to be challenging, but also attainable. There's no point in making a personal challenge that you're never going to achieve. But the idea is that you're going to try to somehow improve your relationship with your me-made wardrobe throughout the month of May. Last year, I decided that I wanted to give myself an additional challenge in addition to wearing me-made clothes, which to be honest is pretty much my default these days. I wear very few ready-to-wear clothes. I also wanted to encourage myself to look at the me-made garments that I wasn't wearing and see what I could do with them. So some of them I just said goodbye and got rid of, but most of them I actually just needed to do some kind of mending job, alteration to them. Some of them I completely refashioned. I took them completely into separate pieces, put them all together. This blouse is one of those. This was a strappy spaghetti strap dress that I wasn't wearing in the style that it was and the fit that I had. Turned it into a blouse that I absolutely love. So this was something that was successful from last year. And I will say, it's not something that I was very experienced in. I felt like I needed to try and just get into refashioning because I had all these old me-made clothes that I just wasn't wearing, and it made me sad. I mean, they were things that I generally liked mostly, or I really liked the fabric, just maybe not the style or the fit anymore. And I didn't want them to just be sitting in my wardrobe, but I felt too sad to get rid of most of those. And I'm somebody who, if I'm trying something new, I kind of like to just go for it. So, you know, if there's like a cold swimming pool, you can kind of dip your toe in and gradually go in. Or you can just leap right into the cold water and just get yourself accustomed to that cold water faster. I'm generally a more of a like just leap on in kind of a person, and certainly when it came to refashions, I felt like the best way for me to get more comfortable and confident with doing refashions is to just go for it. Just make myself just dive on in there, figure it out as I went. And I will say I learned so much last year from doing all my refashions in May, and I came out with lots of really great garments on the other side, but I was also able to just learn other lessons about things that I might make or not make in the future to avoid having similar kinds of unworn garments as well. So I feel like I got a lot out of it last year. But part of the challenge I gave myself last year is that I was not allowing myself to sew any new clothes. I was only allowed to work on those kind of remakes. And I will say, by the end of the month, the other thing that I learned about myself, always good to learn lessons, is that I don't actually really like doing refashions and mending and alterations all that much. It's fine, but it's definitely not going to give me the same level of joy and satisfaction as taking a flat piece of fabric and turning that into a garment. It has its own challenges, and I think there is definitely something you get out of it that you won't from just making clothes from scratch. But for me, what I get out of my sewing, I really just don't get the same level when I'm doing refashions. So I will say that I could be really good. A lot of people I know make themselves or do themselves the favor of working on those projects throughout the year. For myself, I feel like, you know what, after May, I was ready to just do some straight up sewing, and I told myself any of those little jobs that need doing, they can just wait till next May. next May is coming, so basically I need to get on it. So I have decided that I am going to do a similar pledge to last year, but I'm not going to hold myself to only sewing like refashions and remakes of old makes. I'm going to allow myself this year to also work on some new projects, but I have to get through the projects that I've got stacked up that need a little bit of a reworking. So my personal pledge this month is to revisit all of my old makes and ready-to-wear garments that need some love throughout May 2023. So I have a big stack here. Now I will say last year I had gone through years worth of old makes that weren't getting worn for some reason or another. So I felt like this May I really shouldn't have that many. But what I was looking at last year were things that weren't getting worn, and I wanted to get back into my wardrobe. And this year it's a little bit different, because if there's anything that's not getting worn, either it's been not getting worn within the last year, which there's not that many of, or it's something that was kind of borderline last year and I was like, I'll give this another chance and see what happens if I find the opportunity to wear it in the next year. Or it was something that I felt like really didn't necessarily need to be done, but would be nice to do. The other thing that I've decided to do is include my old ready-to-wear garments, because I have not bought any clothes for myself since 2020. Technically, like 2020 was like period from that day on. 1st of January, I didn't buy any ready-to-wear clothes, but in all honesty, for the couple of years previous to that, I didn't buy many ready-to-wear clothes either. So any ready-to-wear clothes that are in my wardrobe, they're old. And because I wear mostly me-mades, they're not getting worn, but I don't want to get rid of them because they're perfectly good clothes. I mean, definitely I could sell them, I could donate them, whatever that would be, but I feel like I kept the things that I did because I like them for some reason. I either have like an emotional connection to them, or I just really love the fabric and I want to try and figure out something to do with those. So I'm going to be going through all of those this month, and I will give you updates of what I managed to refashion or alter each week to give you updates. Any new makes that I'm working on, I won't tell you guys about those on a weekly basis, but I'll tell you about those in my May makes videos as I normally do. But I'll show you just a little bit of what I've got. So these are all me-mades, whoops, here at the top. And some of them, I will say, they need kind of like a whole fair bit of work doing to them. But some of them, it's just like a job that I've been meaning to do forever, like shortening a sleeve and that kind of thing. So I'm going to commit myself that I'm definitely going to go through these me-made clothes to make them more wearable and to enjoy wearing them more when I do. And then these guys, these are all ready-to-wear clothes that for some reason I'm not wearing. And either I just want to use them as basically just fabric and make new garments, or I will see if there's anything I can do to make them more wearable. But I think on the whole, they're just fabric, and I want to do something wonderful with that fabric to be able to give them a little bit more life than just sitting in my wardrobe. The other element of Me Made May that I will be doing is taking daily photos of what I'm wearing from my Me Made wardrobe and talking a little bit about those things at the end of each weekly roundup, because I think it's good for me to actually sit and reflect on what I'm wearing and what I'm enjoying and why, and what's not working and why. I did also for the last 2 years put them in my stories, my daily photos, and I have pinned them to my highlights on my Instagram, so feel free to check those out if you're curious to see what I've been wearing for the last 2 years. That is honestly more for me than anything, because it's really interesting and useful for me to be able to see what I was wearing last May and the May before that, just to see how my style evolves and how my Me Made wardrobe grows and expands. I think it's just really interesting for me to be able to see. So I'll be doing that again. I'll be putting daily stories over on Instagram of what I'm wearing of my Me Made wardrobe, putting that into my highlights on Instagram, and then giving you a general like brief overview each week here on YouTube. I will put a link to a blog post by Zoe Edwards about what Me Made May is and what Me Made May isn't, if you want to understand a little bit more about the challenge. I would also really love to hear, if you are taking part in Me Made May, what that looks like for you. So what is your pledge? What are you planning to do throughout the month of May? I would love to follow you guys over on Instagram, so let me know your handle if you're going to be posting on Instagram. You could even just be doing it for yourself, taking photos for yourself or writing in a notebook for yourself. Either way though, I think it's really inspiring to hear how other people are pushing themselves, because we're all different in our approach to sewing and the things that we do and things that we wish we were doing more. So it's just really cool to hear where you guys are at as well. I hope this sounds like an interesting challenge to you guys. I hope you enjoy watching my videos every week in May. I know I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into this challenge. It's the beginning of the month, right? I'm coming in with all the energy and none of the lethargy, so we'll see how I'm feeling at the end of the month. But honestly, I think it's going to be really good and productive, and I think I'm going to have a lot of much more wearable garments at the end of it. Please make sure you give me a like if you liked my video today. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel if you want to see these videos or any of my other sewing related content, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!